Welcome back everybody to another Smash Selects. And before we hop into everything today, I want to remind you guys that I'm doing a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway. I'm giving away 3 copies and the link is in the description and the comment section below. Now for this episode today, we are talking about Ryu. And I did a poll in the community tab of my channel and it looks like Ryu won by a lot. So we're going to be talking about Ryu today and we're going to break down his brief history in Smash and we're going to compare that to all of his changes in Ultimate. Anyways, let's get started. As many of you may know, Ryu was a DLC character added into Super Smash Bros. 4, so his history is not as long as other characters in the series. But Ryu himself, and with his moveset, he was a really interesting character, and in tournament he actually had some pretty good results. A lot of people claimed Ryu to be a high tier character, but a lot of people just didn't want to pick up Ryu because he required a tiny bit of more tech skill, such as his extra inputs for his up B and side B, the True Shoryuken, a stronger Hadoken, the Tatsumaki Senpukaku, and the Shakunetsu Hadoken. A lot of his moves combo together kinda like his game, and a lot of Smashers don't play other fighting games usually, so a lot of people just didn't give him a chance. But maybe this time around he'll be easier to use because of the changes in Ultimate. But if so, let's find out. Before we hop into the changes, I want to go over his physical appearance and his alternate costumes. Almost all of his costumes are the same besides his orange one, which I used to call the Goku costume. So who knows, maybe Goku will be in Smash. Don't hurt me, it was a joke. Anyways, let's get started on his changes in Ultimate. I know you guys have been waiting for it, so it's time. So since Ryu doesn't have too many changes, I'll be breaking up in a couple sections. We have his attributes, his ground attacks, and his specials. So first we're going to be starting off with his attributes, and he has quite a few of them compared to other characters I've done videos on. So across the board, everybody's jump squat takes 3 frames to complete across the entire board of the cast. But I won't be diving that much into frame data because that's not what these videos are centered on. Frame data, it's centered on just specific changes. Now something I want to talk about with Ryu is that his double jump actually gains a little bit more height, as you can see right here. One thing a lot of people are not talking too much about is the whole dash canceling thing going on in Smash Bros. Ultimate. And now that you can dash cancel your tilts with Ryu, you could run up, down tilt, and then just turn that entire down tilt into an entire combo string. But of course, dash canceling is something across the entire board of all the characters, so it's hard to say how much this will give him an edge over other characters who also probably have a similar situation. But overall, it does improve his reach and his approach. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. In one-on-one matches, like it was said in the direct, Ryu will always face his opponent, similar to how his games actually play. And this comes with a lot of positives and negatives. For example, it will make it harder to make accidental inputs. That's my main issue with Ryu when I used to try to play him. Yikes. Now it will definitely be easier to do the other inputs for his specials. But like I mentioned, this mechanic comes with lots of ups and downs. It makes it easier to use his forward aerial but harder to use his back aerial. So you kind of get a 50-50 with that one. And the main reason that is because in order to turn around fully, you have to double tap backwards for that to happen. It also makes him prone to be hit with specific moves from specific characters, such as Mewtwo. He can be hit with Disable much easier because now you have to do extra work to turn around fully if you want to fully get away or dodge or just turn around to avoid Disable in general. The most interesting part about this change, which surprised me when I heard this way back when people got their hands on with Ryu, is that his initial dash dance doesn't even turn him in the opposite direction because it sends him doing a back dash, kind of like his actual games once again. The way I see this is, I feel like this is an iffy thing, whether this is a nerf or a buff. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it will throw off the opponent and it can actually help you set up for punishes. Say they run in for a grab and instead of doing a normal dash dance, it makes you backdash. You may be frustrated as playing Ryu, but now you have an opportunity to punish off of that dash grab. That's all I'm really going to talk about for his attributes. It's just very interesting and hard to truly tell how Ryu will fully be when we actually get our hands on the game in that department, because the whole facing your opponent's thing is kind of weird and it does actually require a bit more slight tech skill. And I mean slight tech skill, you'll just have to worry about extra things. Now I'm going to move on to his buffs, and he only has buffs going forward, but there's not a whole lot of them. But what we know so far, his neutral attack can now actually jab reset. And I've seen that being a pretty big thing for a lot of the high skilled Ryu players out there. I could see them getting somebody in a jab lock into the true Shoryuken, and honestly that would be really awesome to see and try for myself too. The rest of his buffs for his neutral attacks is that dash attack now does more damage. Now let's move on to his specials. Ryu can cancel his aerials into special attacks in the same way he can do that with ground attacks, so that's a really good addition for Ryu to have in air combat. There isn't a ton of gameplay of Ryu, but we do know that he's able to crumple an opponent when hitting them with a level 3 focus attack after they've been dizzied from a shield. And it already isn't that hard to break shields with Ryu. That forward smash does shrink that shield quite a bit, and if you do that, it just makes the kill even easier. I know it's not super significant because they're already dizzied, but now you have a chance to make them last even longer in a state where they can't do anything. And there's one single thing that I want to talk about for his aerial. None of his specific aerial moves are notably changed or significantly changed. Even though he has the auto turning mechanic, it does not work in the air. It only works on the ground. So you still do have a chance to use back air pretty fairly easily. But overall, those are most of the changes I could find for Ryu. But is he easier to play now, like I stated earlier, compared to Smash 4? No, he actually is going to take a tiny bit more extra out of you if you truly want to pick up Ryu. You're going to have to get used to a couple things because he does things that other characters do not. So how do I feel about Ryu? I feel like his place in the tier still may remain the same. I still feel like he's going to be an extremely good character, but it's really hard talking about tier lists at this point in time. We're months away from the game being out, and we've only played a demo, which is probably significantly changed compared to what the final product is going to be. So it's hard to really say how Ryu is going to end up in the game, but all I can say is I'm liking how he is. There's just a couple things I'm iffy about. But for those of you who play Ryu or want to, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to enter the giveaway in the link in the description below. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.